As we said in the beginning of this newscast, Democrats are planning to introduce one article of impeachment against President Trump. Now, I spoke today with Democratic campaign strategist Bob Mulholland of Chico for his thoughts on a possible impeachment or invoking of the 25th Amendment.
Is it good or could it be bad for the country in the long term if this happens?
I think Congress should do what it wants to do, which is impeach the president. But it's really a checkmate on Trump, not to do anything crazy. But I think the voters impeached Trump last election day.
I'm already hearing fears that this could foment much worse things happening from his supporters.
I think that a lot of his angry people after the riots will be backing off. And on the 20th of January, Biden will be sworn in, Harris will be sworn in, and I think much of that will go away.
Do you think, therefore, personally, as an American, that do you support the proceeding with the impeachment?
I think it's the responsibility under our Constitution for Congress to step forward when they see somebody urging people to riot at the U.S. Capitol, and unfortunately a Capitol police officer was murdered using a fire extinguisher, and hopefully that person is sent to jail forever.
Are you surprised that this happened?
No, even Rudy Giuliani used the word combat, and Trump urged the people to march down there, said he would go with them, and unfortunately they did. And unfortunately people were murdered, and unfortunately it was a terrible scene in pictures all around the world. When you ask people with a high school education who spent their honeymoon at white supremacist camps to go march on the Capitol, you're putting us all at risk.
I think a lot of people would argue that not everyone in that crowd meets that description that you just gave.
Yeah, sure, but they were there. And there was hundreds of people breaking glass, pushing police officers down. And fortunately for Congressman LaMotha, him and the others were able to get to a secure room. But that wasn't true for the Capitol police officers.
But again, are you surprised that it...
No. No, I've been around this country. I've been in 60 countries. I'm not surprised. I've seen these type of behavior. Whenever a politician says, let's go get them, it usually means go get them.
Can the country heal from this?
Yeah, and Biden has to focus on the COVID-19, get 300 million Americans vaccinated this year, and thus the economy will get better. And then Americans will start focusing on their own lives again and not Congress.
The division is extraordinarily strong right now. Can that be repaired?
Hey, you ought to go to a Philadelphia Eagles game. Yes, it'll be repaired. I think the majority of the American people voted for Biden and Harris. The majority of the American people want this country to move forward, and the majority of the American people want Trump to leave.
So bottom line is you sound pretty optimistic about the whole thing.
Yeah, I tend to be optimistic. I know ultimately the American people will feel good about our country, be patriotic, and once we get Trump off TV, or at least most of the time, most of us will go back to our regular lives, and hopefully we can get the COVID vaccine covered.
Well, Mullholland says he and his wife, former Butte County Supervisor Jane Dolan, will not be attending the inauguration after President-elect Biden urged Americans to stay home due to the pandemic. Well,